Hey, everybody. Welcome to Action A Go-Go. We've got a very special guest with us today, the illustrious Troy Jeffrey Allen of Rexco and Previews World fame. Troy, you want to do a quick little introduction?
Yeah. I'm Troy of Rexco and Previews World fame. Okay. I was just making sure that YouTube actually pulled it up. I make comics. I work in comics, like I have an industry job in comics, a 9 to 5, and part of that is the Previews World brand. Give us a follow over on YouTube, Previews World, as it sounds, and Rexco. Also, one word, Rexco, and then comics. Or Go Rexco. I think it's at Go Rexco on YouTube.
Yeah, I should have some links down in the description that people can follow. Basically, takes them right to the website. Of course, Previews World, the famous Previews World. Just do a Google search, should be able to find that. But very happy to have you aboard, man. It's been a while since we've done one of these.
It is. It's been a long time.
Yeah, and just for an intro for myself, founder, owner of Action A Go Go, the internet's number one source for explosions and action movie news and reviews. Also have a couple of books available on Amazon. Just search Eric Scarzella. Also some descriptions down below for that. But the reason we're here, the reason I dragged Troy out of his palace and myself out of my dungeon, basically we're here to talk about 2023, man. What a year. What a year. I don't even know how else to say it.
It's an interesting year on various levels.
Yeah. A lot happened. A lot didn't happen. Fun, real point, just before we get started with the list itself, movies that didn't come out in 2023. Dune 2 got pushed back. Ghostbusters
that's true, yeah.
pushed back.
Was that pushed back? Frozen Empire or whatever it was?
Yeah, that was supposed to be a 2023 film. That got pushed back.
That's probably a smart move.
Yeah, Dune was a bit more famous. I mean, the writer's strike, right?
Yeah, writer's strike and actor strike simultaneously at one point.
Yeah, that little thing. Maybe you should have had someone on board to talk about that a little bit more. But I mean, we all lived it. But anyway,
it's still fresh.
It's still very fresh. but that was just a little tidbit. Such a wild year for entertainment. But let's start at the top, okay?
Yeah.
So Ant-Man and the Wasp came out. What were your thoughts on that, Troy?
Man, you know what? Seriously, dude, I liked it. I thought it was fun. I think all the things that people are complaining about are a combination of wanting to see Marvel fail. Fatigue has been an ongoing thing for almost 10 years now, right? For some people, right? They're just sick of it. And also just genres fallout. You know? It became one other thing. It became one other thing that you could lay into the movie about, you know?
No, totally. And it's such a shame because the movie worked so well on so many levels.
Yeah.
I actually really loved seeing Bill Murray, Michael Douglas, and Michelle Pfeiffer on screen together.
Yeah, legit, right.
That was cool. That was so cool. That worked so well. I got to cut the YouTube stream off. I'm distracted by my own beautiful face here. But that was like this incredible movie moment that got lost in the ether for some reason. Like no one made a big deal out of that.
No, yeah, it did. And like, it was the Bill Murray cameo was tasteful. It was, just the right amount. I can imagine Bill Murray said, "This is all I'm doing. Don't bring me back." I imagine of it.
Well, I was going to say, famously, like he just gets scripts and it's like thumbs up or thumbs down whether he's going to be in them or not.
Right?
So
yeah.
Made it into a Marvel film is very like weird.
It is. It is. But yeah, it was entertaining. And yeah, like there's something great about seeing Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Douglas together. Like, they just have a different type of mood or charm. You know what I mean? Like there's like they're they're seasoned and professional enough that even if they're not excited about being in it, they're being genuine. You know?
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
they're like seasoned professionals, and a lot of number one, the story itself was so fun. Quantumania, I think it
It
really
was a
paid
fun
off in
story.
that. Um,
Hmm.
Paul Rudd, he's just born for the role. Perfect movie
Yeah,
for
he's
him.
always good. Hmm.
But their chemistry and their weird sexual tension and the political stuff they managed to like one of my favorite lines of the movie, which somehow was controversial. When when the aliens are attacking Kang, and Michael Douglas is like, "I know socialism is a charged word, but when you look at this, I just bawled out laughing at the theater. Like it was just so good, man. It was
Right.
good.
No, it was good, and like, not to jump ahead, but I mean, I wait a minute. Actually, well, I was about to say I enjoyed all the Marvel movies this year. That's not true. Something came out this year that was kind of like was Thor Love and Thunder this year? That
Um,
was last year. That was last
that was
year.
last year.
Okay, yeah. So I guess yeah. Well, we won't go, but yeah, no, I thought it was good, man. I really can't blame. I thought it was well directed. I thought the effects were fun. I know people took them to task about MODOK, but MODOK is like a weird looking character and should look like a weird character. That I'm like kind of okay with that. I know some people were upset about MODOK not having his traditional origin story, all right?
Yep.
But at the same time, I'm like, I was actually fairly impressed with how they managed to tie it back into the first Ant-Man.
No,
Spoilers, by the way.
spoilers, yeah. And
Yeah.
I was as well. And then another little tidbit,
Mhm.
like the ending almost ended like both the other films. Like when he got trapped, like they almost did a three-peat, but I think they sort of stopped at the end. Like, wait a minute, we just can't do this again. We can't
Right.
lose
Yeah.
one of these people in the universe or something.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
my man's here took an L. But
He took an L. He took an L. But here, I actually thought he was good in this.
I did too.
Yeah.
I'm really conflicted about the whole thing. I'm sure many people are for all sorts of reasons, and we'll bounce to the next movie soon. But yeah, I thought he did really good. I think hinging the Marvel universe on him was a bit
Hmm.
much. Like
Yeah.
hinging everything on him may have been a strategic error. I mean, as
Mhm.
a comic book fan, like Kang's not that important. You know what I mean? He's a high.
He isn't, but he is because of what he represents. And I think we've talked about this before on the previous world stuff. Character is an important character to somebody. You know what I mean when it comes to comic
Yeah,
book stuff. You know what I mean?
no, totally.
And Kang is like a major Avengers villain. Like he is possibly Reed Richards' son, possibly Doctor Doom. Like you know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah.
so
It is like a whole thing.
that's a whole thing, right?
Wow.
And like, and also he has the ability to time travel, which is like also its own huge thing, you know.
Yeah.
So I know like now people are like, oh, I didn't really like King all that much, and I'm like, I wanted to see where it goes, and I hope they continue direction and don't just scrap the whole thing.
Well, that remains to be seen.
Mhm.
Speaking of Bill Murray, sorry, I'm going to play with Google. That's what I was messing with, guys. Um, just to get an idea here. Bill Murray was in there, but yeah, I mean that remains to be seen. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Marvel plays this into next year, into this year. We're into this year, but just to move along. Cocaine Bear.
Mhm.
Um, interesting little movie.
Yeah.
What was your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe a little backstory is necessary. Viral sensation, right?
Yeah,
Hilarious.
yeah, that's him. That's
Viral,
him.
viral sensation that definitely had grabbed my interest. I think we've all at some point, no, I wouldn't say all of us, but we definitely have heard the legend of the bear that was on cocaine that ran rampant through a small town in the woods and whatnot. Like we've heard that story before. I think it was fertile ground for a good um I think of like the best comparison to it because it wouldn't be a slasher film, but like yeah, kind of like a slasher comedy type thing,
Yeah,
Um, but I think the folly of being kind of too serious or too straight faced, at several points, especially towards the end.
Hmm.
And I was a little disappointed that. That said, this scene right here, the one that you just had up on screen, with the scene where basically the two early cops, the cop comes in and the rangers in the cabin, and the rangers behind the door trying to hide from the bear,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah, oh, I'm sorry, no, they were paramedics. They were paramedics. The paramedics show up. They walk in not knowing that there's a bear in there, and the ranger in the counter with scared out of her mind trying to say bear. And the entire execution of that scene was actually very well done. Like, from them realizing the bear's there, to them freaking out about it, to the stethoscope on the woman saying "Bear," that was good, to the chase afterwards with her on the gurney. Like, that scene is what the movie should have been.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's down to Elizabeth Banks here. She did a really good
Yeah,
job with it.
she
Period.
did. She did a decent
Um,
job. She did do a decent job with it. I
yeah,
know she's
and
eaten shit since Charlie's Angels, but she
yeah,
did a good job with it.
and my take on it. I mean, I agree with your points. There was some great execution in there. It's not a perfect movie. Like it didn't grab me as much as I wanted it to. Even though I thought it was fine, I thought it was funny. I think you're sort of right. It was a bit too serious, maybe. Maybe they played it a bit too straight at
Yeah.
times, and that sort of took away from the pure fun of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But having said that, I'm glad it exists. I'm
Mhm.
glad they did it. I think it was a fun shot in the arm that the
Mhm.
country needed. and like,
It-
it's been a hard couple years. You know what I mean? It was really
mm,
nice to have a big, dumb, stupid movie. Horror films. I would sort of like, it's a horror comedy, right? Sort of thing. Like, I just think the nation needed it, and I'm glad it exists. I'm glad they did it.
did it
I
do
like
well?
marketing almost more than the movie itself.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
same thing with that first Suicide Squad film. Like, the
Mhm.
marketing was better than the actual film. I think that's
Oh
sort of
yeah.
stuck here.
Yeah.
Um,
Not
but
not as bad. Not as bad, but yes.
not as bad. The movie's good. I would call it a good movie if you want to kill some time, all that sort of stuff. Am I going to watch it again and again and again? Nah, but I'm glad they did it. I'm glad they did it.
And I think that's kind of what I was hoping for. This could have been a great movie for potheads. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
That's what I was
This
trying.
could have been a
I was
great
trying
movie.
to dance.
You're
I
right.
was trying to dance
Like this.
around that, but yeah, smoke a doobie, watch Cocaine Bear, enjoy
Mhm.
yourself. But okay, so I think we have a similar take on that one. Let's
Yeah.
bounce to another one. Um, our man's.
Mhm. Mhm. Back
Um,
again.
yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say it. What a crazy rise and crazy fall for this man. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no walking around this whole thing with him. And
Mhm.
I did not see this. Number two.
Okay. Okay.
Number two.
Mhm.
I mean, you couldn't escape him. So I
Mhm.
don't know. What was your take on the film? Since I didn't see, I did watch Creed 2 finally. Funny
Mhm.
enough, I thought that was fine. But
Mhm.
what did you think of Creed 3?
I loved it. I thought it was really good, actually. And I thought that Michael B. Jordan was surprisingly adept at being as a first time director.
You're right. This.
Like
You're right. I'm forgetting that.
yeah. Um, I think I still think Creed 1 is the best of the three, and I think I'm with you. Creed 2 is fine. Like, it's a decent Rocky styled movie, right? Um, and that's kind of what this is. It's it's solid. Like, you know what I mean? It's one
Yeah.
of you say it's what the country needed at the time. The day I saw it, I needed to see this movie, and so that it put me in a better mood after I watched it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the Rocky movies are supposed to do anyway. So that's mission accomplished. Um, Jonathan
Yeah.
Majors is good in it. Michael B. Jordan's good in it. Everybody's good in it. There's no Rocky in this one because of contractual of copyright stuff between Sylvester Stallone. But I don't want to lay that on this movie necessarily. Like, this is supposed to be someone else's franchise.
Yeah, that was a weird.
Mhm.
That was another weird thing where Stallone Is this year the year Stallone like literally made artwork about the guys who own the rights and don't share it with him or something at this point? Like
He
there's
may
some,
have.
yeah, that was a whole weird public. A lot of people, it's like gloves off, man. These days, I will say that. I feel like there's just some of that's bound to come up during the rest of this list, but it's been a weird gloves off era between 2023 going into 2024. But okay, you liked it. I have to see it. You're right. All the Creed films are solid. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
this
Rocky
is solid
film.
one.
It's hard to make a bad Rocky film.
Right.
But I think the one coming up. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, which is impressive when there are bad Rocky films, but yes.
Exactly. Let's sharpen
Oh man, I forgot about this.
Yeah, and we sort of already spoke about this one, but this you want to go first? You want to take a swing real quick?
Yeah, I mean this was disappointing. I think that's the long and short of it. And I mean, I didn't have high hopes for it, but I was hoping for like B movie fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it didn't even deliver that. And I think I was hoping it'd be fun because Sam Raimi was attached to it.
Oh wow.
But yeah, it just felt like cash in on Jurassic World popularity, not realizing that it's really just because it's the Jurassic Park franchise, not necessarily because we want to see some dinosaur movie, because random dinosaur movies get made all the time and people don't watch them. So, you know.
Yeah.
And also the shine. Well, I was going to say the shine of seeing dinosaurs that look real we're way past that. So it's like, what else can you bring?
Well, dude, I keep waiting for my Dino Riders movie. Like I am begging the universe. I actually went back and rewatched it not for some reason. I was on a huge 80s kick a couple months ago. And I mean, borderline crying watching some of these old cartoons. They're so good and so pure. It's such pure, rich storytelling and these little nuggets from the 80s. But I'm seriously waiting for my Dino Riders film, like lasers and dinosaurs just shooting at each other, please. And we can't seem to get it. Like we just can't get it. And this movie is a perfect example of that. Like I was really excited for the trailer, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, they're going to screw this up. They're not going to do it right. They won't do it. I don't know why. I feel like maybe if Michael Bay got his hands on this, we'd be in a better spot.
Right.
Or
I think that's also true. Yeah.
Duncan Moon, maybe. I think he did. Did he do the Bumblebee movie?
Duncan Moon. Duncan.
The Transformers Bumblebee film, where the first 5 minutes is like the Transformers movie we always wanted. But
But then it deteriorates into nonsense.
Yeah, I could be confusing my directors with that one. But yeah, man, I agree. This was like Adam Driver's great. This was like the After Earth of dinosaurs films, and no one cared. Did it need to get made? Probably a tax write-off in there somewhere. I don't know, man. Just really frustrated with this. And it's not the girl. Like he's a great actor. Yeah. It's just they didn't do anything.
There's no point for the girl to be in the damn movie, first of all. Like that in itself is stupid, and just like a studio probably trying to insert something into a script that didn't have a character in it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
like that's really what it feels like.
Well, it feels like they literally recycled After Earth. Yeah, and just found a way to do it. But anyway, let's I was really excited. The recipe was there, but they goofed it up, man.
So I'm having a hard time remembering my own personal idea of what I thought this movie was about from what I think the movie is about. He's in the future, and then he goes back. No, he does not go back in time 7 million years.
He's in a starship with a bunch of people.
Right.
For some reason, his daughter died. For some reason.
Right.
He end up 65 million years in the past with dinosaurs.
In the past, okay. Right.
By the way, scientifically inaccurate. This isn't when Tyrannosauruses were. This isn't when any of this shit was. Excuse me.
Well, also just mathematically inaccurate.
Yeah, it's all bunk. It's all dumb. But whatever. And that's it. That's the movie. I don't even know what the ending. I don't even know. Yeah. They make it. What is it? I don't know.
You know what this should have been?
Dino Riders?
you're gonna totally agree with me when you hear this. You know what this should have been?
What,
This should have been a Predator movie.
dude? I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna say no. I mean, it raises a
This
lot
should
of
have.
questions. But actually, if you go to Predator 2, there's
Mhm.
some that looks like a T-Rex skull in there.
Yeah,
So I'm not gonna say you're wrong. I'm not
this could
gonna
have been a
disagree.
Predator movie.
It could have been, but let's anyway, it coulda, shoulda, woulda with this one. I
Yeah.
wish it was better. But anyway, let's move on to this. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna start off with this one. I hate these movies. I hate them so much. But what did you think?
I, I kind of, as much as I love Megan Good in that purple costume,
Ooh-wee.
yeah. Here's the thing: I don't think the movie's bad. It's just this. I don't know. It felt so fake that I don't know. I didn't care about it in one way or another. Like, you know what I mean? And some of
Go
this is
ahead.
where superhero fatigue comes from. This is where my superhero fatigue comes from the sameness of these movies. It's not necessarily I'm tired of the movies themselves. It's the sameness of some of these movies, particularly the movies and how uh, paint by numbers they feel sometimes.
This one, I think this particularly suffers from that. Also, all of them having powers. Like, okay, so he's not special. Like automatically off the jump. I don't understand it. Dude, I don't know if you watched. My daughter loves these movies,
The
so
Shazam movies.
I was forced to watch this movie. Dude,
Mhm.
there's dragons in it. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's a real mismatch of stuff, and I know from experience and as a fan, like, dude, Adventure Comics or DC Comics lore is really goofy. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Right,
really
right.
like pre Golden Age goofy. Like they just
Hmm.
made stuff up for kids. None of it
Hmm.
made any sense, and this suffers from that a little bit. But at the
Hmm.
same time, I'm like, dude, there is like a core story to Shazam
Hmm.
that I think could really work. You
Yeah,
know, magic
yeah.
word, kid uses it, hero shows up, like, and it's such an iconic
Hmm.
character.
Hmm.
But they just use it and abuse it, man. And you're right. This is superhero fatigue. It's not. I don't think they're doing it right. Speak of the devil.
Hmm.
Was this last year or was this year?
This was this year.
No, wait. Hold on. Was Black Adam? Black Adam may have been last year, wasn't it?
Black Adam was like towards the end of last year.
Yeah, another one. That movie was. I almost liked it in the way I liked
Hmm.
Aquaman, the first one,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
another like goofy, stupid film.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, that's it. If you have anything else to say, go. But that's really all I have to
No,
say.
I just think the sameness is there, and like I remember when when the first one movie came out, I was making a mistake not putting this in the 1940s or the 1930s. They're making a mistake because that actually would have set this apart from all the other movies by itself, and they
Yeah,
didn't do it. And I think that because they kind of democratized, there's always been a Shazam family. Don't get me wrong, right? But because they democratized the Shazam powers, they have to kind of do things with the others no matter what. And I feel like they do a fairly good job of these with doing things with these additional characters. But yeah, it's and it's not a bad. It's just it's not interesting.
yeah, but
The
even
same
Megan.
the sameness just kills it. Hmm?
Yeah, and they're not that talented, and they make the movies like too big. I've been saying this for a long time.
Yeah,
They make
that
these
too.
movies way too big,
Hmm.
and they bite off more than they can chew, and they always feel like they need to like a simple story about Shazam
Hmm.
would be. I would welcome that. But anyway, I
Yeah,
think we're on the same page, and let's
yeah,
let's talk about some good news. The forthcoming of action movie Jesus right here.
yeah.
What? I'll let
Well, I mean,
you
action
dice
movie Jesus has
your
already been
thoughts.
here. Um, I mean, I'm going to be the naysayer here. I don't think I particularly like Wick films. The gun fu stuff. I learned this when I saw Equilibrium years ago. It bores me after a while. And when they started introducing bulletproof suits, Gucci suits into the movie, with the Kevlar lining, I was already kind of like, I just wanted a revenge story, and now you guys are turning this into, I don't know, Fortnite or something. I don't know. And so I'm not a fan. I watched half of this. I turned it off because I was sort of like, I don't really care about this. I turned it off. Yeah, I did.
Dude, we're
Yeah,
not friends anymore.
I turned it off. I turned it off right
You're
about the
done.
point.
You're out of here. I'm gonna kick you out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna kick you out
I,
of the stream. Um,
I,
wow.
I turned.
Okay,
I'll
well,
tell you when. I'll tell you when. I turned it off right around the point that Sam, what's his name, showed up. The action star dude. He was in a fat suit.
narrows it down. This guy
Huh?
that narrows it down.
No. That's Donnie Yen.
Donnie Yen.
What was the actor's name? Sam. Is it Sam something? Man, you're gonna make me look this up. But he showed up. I was thoroughly impressed with what he was doing. Like, he was really giving a performance. But yeah, I just was kind of like,
Scott
I'm kind of over
Adkins.
this movie though.
Scott Adkins.
Who?
Scott Adkins.
Scott Adkins. I'm sorry. Yeah, Scott Adkins.
Not to say he did great.
No, he was good in it. But I didn't turn it off because of him. I turned it off because of everything before that. And I was like, I don't want to watch another. And it was like a 3-hour movie. And I was like, I don't want to watch another hour and a half of this.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna take the takeaway real quick, and then I mean, I will say in some ways, yeah, I think in terms of story, this was sort of the weakest one. Yes, they are beating a dead horse. Okay, I'll say it. But these movies really aren't about that. They're about fun and craft and stunt stuff, and yeah, I think maybe they jumped the shark a little bit with this movie in some ways, but besides that, I loved it. I really enjoy these films. For me, they just feel like a warm hug. This one, I think for the first time sort of disappointed me in some ways, but I think they're going to fix that, and I would watch it again. I think I would encourage you to watch it again, maybe see what you think about the ending. But
I mean, I'm willing to watch it again. It was like, yeah, it was just more for me, and I was like, yeah, okay.
I enjoyed I enjoyed the characters. For me, it takes me back to, again, the 80s, early 90s. Defined characters. Some people have a shtick. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that stuff.
Yeah, you like the character. You like the character work. You like the character work, and I understand that. I mean, and that's what Scott Adkins did, and I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong.
Exactly.
It's one of those things where I just, all those great character actors, and I feel like you could be doing something better with this. Well, I felt that way. I felt that second John Wick, and then like since the first John Wick, to be honest, I've been kind of a hater since then, I guess.
Wow. I feel so betrayed right now.
I need a story. I need a story.
But that's not what the movies are for. You know what I mean? And in that sense, they're like the real. It really, to me, and I will give you that. Yeah, I've actually been upset with these films because the story is so weak, and it sucks up a lot of attention. I will say that if you're going to criticize it, yes, the story is crap, but everything else they do, it's like they are the keepers of the flame in some ways. Also, real quick, in terms of how things have been going this year, this movie made a lot of money. It went against type. Yeah. They're not really. And it speaks a lot that this is really the only type of movie, apart from a couple others that came out that are more niche, almost B movie. Like I didn't see Silent Night, but we'll save Silent Night for later. But anyway, let's move on. But I get it. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing. I love John Wick 4. I thought it was perfect. I will say this movie surprised me right here. I actually found this very funny and entertaining.
This is actually probably one of my favorite of the year. Like, it is a traditional film. Like, it really kind of took me back to, like, the stuff that we grew up on, where you would just kind of get like a random adventure movie, a fantasy adventure, and it was like just fully formed, And I feel like it's absolutely perfect that it's Dungeons and Dragons, because a lot of those fantasy films crib off of dragons in the first place, you know?
You really do.
Um,
It's really
yeah,
freaky when you realize that.
yeah, yeah. So it's kind of crazy that it took this long for this. I hope they get a sequel. I hope they're able to get the crew back. Chris Pine is great. I'm always
He
happy
really
seeing
is.
Michelle. Huh? Yeah, he really is.
Yeah.
I love seeing Michelle Rodriguez and stuff in general. That's not Fast and Furious at this point. Um, you know, yeah, it's great. It was a lot of fun. I can't express how fun this movie was. Hugh Grant's the bad guy.
He was
Which,
really Hugh Grant has really entered this phase where I
mhm,
basically consider him a character actor, but
mhm,
I don't think anybody cares because he's just so vivacious and
yeah,
charming and witty, and he lifts up your spirits when you're watching him in the film. Like I
mhm,
agree. I thought he was great in it. Chris Pine, he knows how to chew a scene. He knows how
yeah,
to like. There is something about this character, and
mhm,
he had it in Star Trek.
yeah,
Like
absolutely.
through this, like he just has swagger,
Hmm.
whatever you want to call it. She was great. It was a charming film. Everybody
Yeah,
did good. The supporting cast
everybody did good.
for a pretty big cast too.
Yeah, a pretty. And when we say big, I guess you mean just like in terms of, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Not necessarily in terms of name, but in terms of size.
the size, yeah, size and numbers. Um,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
this guy's having a bit of a year. It was a
Yeah,
good movie. I'm not gonna pretend I
I
know
can
the age right
I
now.
can forget his name. He was in Pokemon, but yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
And
Just this.
that's the guy. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Um,
We liked it. We liked it. Okay, let's
yeah, I recommend it. Like, if you want to waste time watching anything, this is the movie probably to watch, because it's just a fun movie.
It really was. So let's pick up a little bit of speed here because we're already a half hour in. Um,
Hmm.
but did you watch this Murder Mystery too?
Uh, was Murder Mystery? No, I did not.
Okay, I watched it. It was funny. It was a Netflix film. It's probably the best movie these are the best movies Adam Sandler is doing on Netflix that actually have him in it. Some of
Oh,
them are
okay.
pretty insufferable, but this was actually pretty funny. So
Okay.
I would recommend it. We don't need to spend a lot of time on it. You didn't see it. I would recommend it if you wanted to spend some time with Liz, sort of
Okay.
movie.
Hmm.
Actually, this is a big one. Actually,
That's a big one.
this I think. Actually, this is a great point. I wanted to do a separate video about this anyway. I
Hmm.
think this and a couple other films represent. Oh, The Last of Us represent video games taking over the cinema and
Oh
pushing
yeah.
comic book films out.
Hmm.
And this one stuck it in and broke it off. Um, what are your thoughts on the movie itself, though, or maybe what I just said too?
Yeah, no, I think between Detective Pikachu, the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, The Last of Us, Super Mario Brothers, I think that we are going to see a seismic shift in the quality of video game movies that we get, and also the approach to the type of video game movies we get, and also them being more successful. Like, it's this and the original Super Mario Brothers are like night and day, and I think they underline the original Super Mario Bros. Movie, and I think they kind of underline how audiences have shifted in the last several decades. Like, when you just kind of look at these two movies. Um, yeah, it worked. I mean, like, I actually forgot Chris Pratt was Mario.
I didn't.
totally, for- I
I
totally
did.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
I've
My
noticed lately.
it's my one bone to pick, but two
Okay.
things. Well, I'm just going to say it. He is not Italian. He is not Italian, and I'm never going to forgive him for being Mario while not Italian. I had to get that off my chest. I have to
Mhm.
say it. And having said that, you brought up this movie. I have a soft spot for this movie. I saw it. I'm not unbiased with this film. I saw it when I was a kid. Everybody hated it. I thought it was cool.
Mhm.
It was 80s and 90s cool. My strike zone.
Mhm.
Perfect? No. Good? No. Really weird? Really weird interpretation. People hate it for all sorts of reasons that are valid.
I mean, the weirdness of the interpretation is actually what makes it cool to me.
Charming, yeah, it makes it charming in a way. But then we have this. I mean, this is such a look at this. Look at that. I mean, we've gone from
night and day. Night and day.
It is night and day. I mean, we're getting what we want. My criticisms of the film, I'm going to say it did feel generic.
Yeah.
It felt like generic Hollywood kids film, which I mean, it's impossible to escape at this point. It's an Illumination film. I usually hate their movies, so
yeah, I usually don't watch them. So
yeah, they're pretty bad. But this was fine. I guess Nintendo put some pressure on them, or maybe kept them into a tight box. All right, we both liked it. Huge deal. There's going to be huge deal, big success. Marvel should watch out. NBC, Warner Brothers, whatever.
Yeah, no, I do think this is the next phase. I really do.
Yeah. Did you see this?
No, I watched like 15 minutes of it, and I was asked to turn it off because it was disturbing.
I thought it was pretty fun.
Okay.
But here's
I also live with a chicken, so there's also that.
no judgments. This is we got a lot of movies to talk about. I saw it. I liked it. He is not Italian. He's playing an Italian priest. Yeah. There is a weird. This is going to continue. There's a weird trend of not hiring Italian people to play Italians in American movies. And
that's fair.
It is very weird to me, and I do not understand why. Because there is a lot of us. It is not hard to find us, but they are not Italian people in these movies.
Right. It's the same. It's the reasoning they always give, which is that we have to find the best actor for the role, and we have to find the most bankable person for the role, and someone at the right price point. There's all that stuff, and there's a lot of misrepresentation to go around in Hollywood for damn sure.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and be upset with Russell,
right?
But I just. But the movie was fine. Did you watch this? Renfield.
Sorry, I muted myself for a second. Yeah, what a fucking disappointment. I was really excited to see this, and I thought it was going to be everything, and it turned kind of not understand at all what it needed to be. Like, it didn't even seem to understand vampires. It was weird.
I'm not going to sit here and say it was a great film.
That's a great cover. That's a great poster.
Yeah. No, that is a wonderful poster. I'm going to steal that later. But all right. I'm just going to say it. I liked it.
You did? Okay.
I liked it. I love this man. Nicolas Cage is a national icon. He's a national treasure. He really stuck it in and broke it off with this movie.
He did. No, yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I really appreciate them. I think you're right. The movie wasn't good. Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to disagree with you. I liked it. It was a good movie. Was it great? No. Did it feel like it was ripping off What We Do in the Shadows? Yes. But I liked it. And for what it was.
I don't even want to say. I don't even think it was ripping off What We Do in the Shadows. I don't like this idea that What We Do in the Shadows has pinned a flag in this type of comedy. Like, that type of comedy existed before What We Do in the Shadows. We just called it English. We just called it British comedy.
No, you're right.
So, but yeah, it's. I imagine the movie got because of What We Do in the Shadows. Like that I could believe, but yeah, meh.
Yeah, no, I understand why you wouldn't like it, but I did. I liked it, and if anything, just to see this masterful performance by him.
Yeah, it's a great performance.
I mean, it's give it a shot. Give it a shot. Whoa, oh man, did you see this? I did not see this.
Yes, I did. I finally got after Cocaine Bear and Renfield did not deliver. It was so great to get to get a goddamn horror movie that knows what it is. Actually, you know what? We skipped Annabelle. I will give Annabelle credit. Not Annabelle. I'm sorry. The robot doll. What's that called?
Megan?
Megan. I'll give Megan credit. Megan actually turned out to be way more entertaining than I thought it would be.
Was that this year though?
I think it was.
That was last year.
Oh, it was the end of 2022. Okay, never mind. Anyway, Evil Dead Rise. Yes,
no.
absolutely.
It was. I'm sorry. It was this year.
Okay, I thought it was.
Yeah, it was.
I thought it was
It's
like
just
January or something. Yeah, January. Yeah.
Might as well be last year, but yeah.
All right. But yeah, no, I think it's yeah, no, Megan was cool. Megan was actually surprisingly entertaining and well executed. But yeah, Evil Dead Rise, man, like yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. They trimmed some of the edge off from the 2013 movie, but just a little bit because the 2013 movie is just fucking nuts. Like it's almost like, how is this not X-rated? You know what I mean? And it's not for nudity. It's just for the terror and gore and just discomfort it provides at several points in the movie. Evil Dead Rise eases up on the discomfort of it, right? So you don't see her getting R-worded by a tree.
All right, moving on.
It's Evil Dead. No, I'm just saying, like, it's the truth. Like, the 2013 movie is kind of raw and out of control, and this is an acceptable level of terror that I think most people could probably watch and get a kick out of.
Okay, I did not see it. I will take your word for it, and just want to bounce since I didn't see it. It's the Troy show. I'll jump in on this one. I'm usually very hard on Fast and Furious movies. All right, I'm usually very hard on them, but I was really in the mood for this, and it is the dumbest movie I saw all year, and I loved it for that. Like, I really enjoyed it. Who's the director?
It's Louis Leterrier.
Louis Leterrier. Oh, not even James Wan? Oh,
no. No, James Wan only did 7, and that was it.
Only did 7. That's it. Every movie's
he only did 7. Yeah.
God, he really left his mark then.
Then it's actually and that is the feel of this franchise. Yeah. So if you thought it was James Wan, it's actually Justin Lin. Like, he directed like 4 movies, I think.
Oh, well, there you go. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's 10 films. I just can't at a certain point. It's like Bond films. You know what I mean? After 3, it's like whatever. Some guy directed it. Some guy started it. But I mean, this movie was so fun. Did you enjoy it?
No. Not at all. Well, here's the thing.
Hurting on these.
Well, here's the thing. I was by it at first, and as the movie went on, fortunately, it's not a long movie. It's actually pretty short. But as the movie went on, it just kind of felt more and more like, what are we even doing? What are we even doing here anymore? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and the overt.
Out of your mind.
No, I'm serious. I'm serious. Like, I don't get it. Like, I'm just sort of like, why are they the Avengers? This is not what I wanted from these characters. And I also just feel like everything is a Vin Diesel, and I'd much rather spend time with some of these supporting characters in main plot roles. And yeah, the whole thing is just sort of like, like John Cena's great with the kid, but I also don't need the kid there. Like, there's that aspect of it as well. Jason Momoa is weird in this movie. Like,
I really enjoyed that.
Partially entertaining, but also just sort of like, what are you doing?
I really enjoyed that. He was really there was a whole, and I don't want to spoil it because I mean, if I say it, it'll literally spoil it. It's one of the there was a whole aside in this movie that I really ended up enjoying, and it felt like a gag. Like it almost felt like Airplane or something like. And I was just there for it for whatever reason. Like he's another one. He's sort of like we were just talking about it, the British dude. Like he just shows up in a movie now and he just like acts like himself. Like that's his shtick, and he just gets away with it. this guy is magical. Like there's something
no,
going
John
on
T
here.
is good.
Yeah,
John T is good. Yeah.
he's got something going on, man. He needs to be in more stuff, bigger stuff. But I also like
he's already in some of the biggest stuff.
You're right.
Yes.
He's getting there if he's not there yet. But I do like how the movie is just like a blob that just creates bad guys and absorbs them. Like I think that's fun. But I mean, if you hate it, I get it. I'm not going to sit here and defend this one. Like it's just, it is.
I mean, to me, I'm like, and I mean, hate might be a little strong. I'm just confused by it at this point. Like, I just don't know. And also the fact that it ended on I was like, I was just like, get out of here.
Yeah,
like,
that was a little dumb.
Like, stop this. This is not real.
This is a curveball, just because I think this is a theme this year. But what did you think of this one? Just real quick.
I thought it was okay. I just thought it was okay. Like I remember the Little Mermaid from when I was a kid. I was never much of a Disney kid. Oh, I wasn't a Disney kid at that point. I'll put it like that. My Disney was Duck and DuckTales, like that sort of stuff, and Herbie the Love Bug. So this period of Disney, I was probably like a young teenager and did not care about this. I was reading X-Men at this point in time when this movie came out, when the original movie came out. But I've seen it, and it is a good movie, and it has good songs in it. And I just feel like this is repetitive, and it's visually, it's not particularly interesting or like, you know what I mean? Like, we literally just saw them do the same thing with Avatar in a more realistic fashion, just like a few months prior. And I thought the lead actress was good. I thought what's her name? Melissa McCarthy was good, very good. But yeah, the whole thing just seems pointless and needless. And I mean, I know I'm not the fan base for this, but I know that some of the older Disney fans are also kind of in of that attitude that why are we doing this? Didn't bring anything new to the table. It's like, all right.
Yeah, I agree with all your points. Just real quick. I mean, I will say, like, I grew up during the Disney Golden Age. I cherish those memories. You know what I mean? I'll just say it.
The animation.
Yeah, I'm a couple years younger than you. So I really was in the strike zone for this. Not a lot, but just a couple. So I'm a little bit behind you. So it was like Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, like that whole bit. And it really began with this one, I think. This is when they did get their S together. Yeah. But I watched it by myself one night while working on something else. You're right. Going from Avatar to this, it's like, whoa, they got the B squad on this one. And the rest of it, I just didn't think it was up to par. That's all. It didn't feel as good as the other live action ones. I'm not a huge fan of the live action ones anyway, but I enjoyed Aladdin. This, I was like, The actors were fine. The songs were a bit dumb though, and I was just a little disappointed by it. I didn't think
the new songs. There is one good new song, but like, the rest of the other new song is like,
that whole thing. I was like, oh my god, my ears.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, just to bounce to this, and Sony does these, right?
Yeah, Sony does these in conjunction with Marvel Studios, I guess.
Dude, this was staggeringly good.
It was very good.
This was incredible. Go ahead, whatever you have to say, but I was just like floored by this, and I love it. Anyway.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, only criticism I'll level against it is that it's a little long. Just a little too long. But it is a visual like feast. It is a fun movie. It is very much the most Spider-Man I think we've gotten. Again, just like the previous movie, it's the most Spider-Man movie we've gotten in a long time. And I'm talking about specifically
the most what? Superman Spider-Man movie?
The most Spider-Man movie.
Oh, literally.
Yeah, in a long time. I would only give maybe more. And I love the last Tom Holland movie. I think that one's really good, but these Spider-Verse movies really have kind of zeroed in on what makes Spider-Man special, despite not having Peter Parker at the forefront. And I find that really fascinating. Just a cool, fun movie.
Yeah, I agree. Even your criticism, actually, the movie is a bit too long, but it
Yeah.
is. I This movie, I'm like, how are they able to get away with this? This is so good. Like it's like someone stole this from the House of the Gods or something and gave it to us. I will say that, I will say my favorite is still the third Tom Holland film. I don't even know what they call it. Is it Home Again? No Way Home? No Way Home.
No Way Home. Yeah, No Way Home.
I love that movie just because it hits me right in the feels. It's such a good film.
It's really well done.
Yeah, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield bringing it home too. So that's still my favorite Spider-Man film. But this, as an animation film, maybe one of the best animation films I've ever seen. Maybe one of the best animation films ever made. Yes, this. What they do with this film, frame by frame, shot by shot, just staggeringly good.
Just impressive. Like
creativity, I don't even know Hollywood still had this type of creativity.
No, legit. And it's also interesting too, because we've talked a lot about the sameness of digital effects. This finds, and I mean, mind you, it's not a live action movie, but this movie does find a way to visualize things digitally, because these are all digital effects. Like, visualize things in a way that is thoroughly impressive.
I mean, look at this.
And not even necessary. That's the funny thing about it. Like, they didn't have to go this hard, but
they didn't. That's what I'm saying. Like,
right.
Dude, none of this stuff was necessary. I don't even know. Like, honestly, 2/3 of the way through, I don't know where they are. I don't know why they're there, but I'm happy we're here. Like, whatever this world is, I don't know how they got there. I don't know what the point was, but we did it. It was awesome. All right, so
right.
Totally worth it. Oh, there it is. Moving on. I did not see this, but what was you did watch it with other people.
I did watch it. I did, yeah. It's okay. I mean, it's a Transformers movie. Like, it's better than the Bumblebee movie.
Okay.
It feels more like an actual Transformers story.
Wow. Okay.
And that's from my limited experience with Transformers, right? But I do remember the cartoon when I was a kid. I was more of a G.I. Joe fan, but like it feels more in line with what I remember those Saturday morning cartoons being like.
Okay.
And so that's interesting. It's a weird mix of everything you liked about the Saturday morning cartoons and the stuff you liked about the Michael Bay movies.
Well, I feel like it's sort of like the X-Men films, where they've made so many of them, eventually they start getting it right. Like, I really enjoyed that Bumblebee film. I don't think it was perfect. But, like, that first 5 minutes of that Bumblebee film were like, wow, they could have done this the whole time.
The whole time, right?
So I'm gonna, you liked it. I need to watch it. But just to bounce, speaking of, they could have done it the whole time. This movie, what? Well, let me start with this. Since you said that, coming up, they could have done it the whole time. I was so conflicted by this film in ways I haven't been conflicted about in a long time. On one hand, I sat down and I was watching this and I was like, oh my God, Michael Keaton is Batman. I feel like a kid again. On the other hand, I felt like, oh my God, they could have done this any point in the past 30 years. Any time they wanted to, they could have pulled this out. So here I'm an old man, gray in my beard, sitting here enjoying myself. And then I'm like, all mad about it. Like, why didn't you do this 20, 30 years ago, man? Where's my Batman 3? Do it now. Do it now. I'll pay to see that. And
do it now.
Never mind. Can't talk about half of the shit this guy did. Excuse me.
Yeah, right.
So we won't.
It's action. It's action to go. We can say shit.
Yeah. This monster right here gets to be in a movie. Meanwhile, guy we're just talking about him gets kicked out over footage of him running away from a lady.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the year we had. There's footage of this guy assaulting a woman,
Yeah, like strangling a woman.
literally strangling a woman, fighting cops, other allegations I don't even want to talk about because this is a movie. But dude, what a, and the movie was okay.
So I will say, I will say the movie's okay. Like, I mean, and like I want to like, get across my inflection when I say that the movie's cool. Like, I actually enjoyed this movie, and it has sort of like a energy to it that is necessary for for a story. I think the Flash story has to feel fast, and that this movie feels that way. I feel like the way that they incorporate the different parts of DC origins and mythos of this character into the story, and the original Flashpoint story itself into the story works well. Michael Keaton's great; he's good in it. And it's always kind of one of the few things I've liked about the DCEU is seeing Michael Shannon. As much as I like how he died in Man of Steel, I like Michael Shannon as Zod, and I like Zod and Ursula and those characters in general in the DCEU. And I like how they try to hang their hat on this is a major moment in this universe, the events of Man of Steel, and so we're going to kind of go back to it to kind of show you from different angles. That I also like. Ezra Miller, sorry, he's good in it. I think he has fun playing two different characters. Take with that what you will. And Homegirl, who's Supergirl's kind of hot.
I mean, she did fine. I would have liked to have seen Henry Cavill come back for some reason. I think he's a great Superman. I watched half of Man of Steel.
You haven't watched the entire movie? Oh, okay.
No, I watched all the Flash. I rewatched a part of Man of Steel.
Oh, okay.
Up until Pa Kent dies in the Man of Steel, and there's parts of that movie that are so good, and parts of that movie that are so flawed. And I feel like it's weird how every DC movie has sort of ended up like that. But yeah, he did a good job. As much as I hate him, he did a fine job acting. The movie's fun. It's charming at times. I can see why they kept it finally after all the consternation. But dude, there was other movies that didn't get released that were $200 million. There was a whole Batgirl film that got shelved.
Yeah. I don't think it was $200 million. It was like a mid-budget DC movie, but still
came and went for tax purposes. You can't watch the Willows show anymore legally. But this thing made it out, so I don't know. Congrats.
It's just strange shit.
It's the strangest, one of the strangest movies ever. Like this movie had the type of drama that you usually get with like B films where someone died or something.
Yeah, right.
Like, I don't know, but anyway, I enjoyed the film.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun movie, and I hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it. I wish that the other DC movies had this type of energy to them, and I wish that they were this playful, and I wish that they were this, this connected.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was one of the best ones for sure.
It was actually. Yeah.
This movie came and went. Did you watch it at all?
I heard it I heard it came and went, but then I heard that it like kind of had a second life for some reason. And
I don't know.
It started to rack up money at the box office. I have not seen it, so
I watched it and I did not like. It was not good. It was not good. It was. I think it has the worst premise of any Pixar film. Oh no, $500 million. Okay, Elemental. Okay.
Yeah. No, I remember very distinctly like it kind of fizzled at the box office, and then it kind of had come back, which I don't know was by what.
I mean, it's a kids film. I mean, some kids films are guaranteed to make money. Like that's why they keep making them. Parents need to take their kids somewhere. I don't want to talk too much about it. I just
whatever.
But it's sort of a theme for the year. This movie, you said we already talked about this. You didn't watch it. This dude
No,
stuck
no.
it in and broke it off with this movie. This movie is like The Raid. Like
Okay.
I'm not exaggerating, dude. This movie, Netflix was out for blood with this
Okay.
movie.
I gotta see this thing, man.
You
I really
really do.
do.
And I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's not.
Mhm.
It's John Wick-ish. Like it's got a better story than John Wick, but that's not saying much. You're not watching this for the story, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're watching it because this guy f's people up, and it's a good movie. It's a good movie, solid movie. This dude needs to make 10 more of these. Like that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, I
It's
was so impressed.
by one of the Russos too, right?
I don't think so. I don't
This
think
one,
so.
the first one was. Can we check?
I'm checking now. Sam
Sam
Hargrave.
Hargreaves. Okay, Hargrave. Yeah, he's one of the John Wick guys actually.
Okay, so there you go. That makes perfect sense. You didn't watch it. We'll bounce off, but watch Extraction 2, everybody.
Okay.
You said you liked this, right?
What?
No hard feelings?
Oh yeah, this was actually this was pretty entertaining actually. I think it was probably one of the few comedies I saw this year, and one of the few comedies I wanted to see this year too.
Oh, now I'm going to see it.
Yeah, like you know, Jennifer Lawrence.
Did I make your brain skip with that one?
So what? I
Did I
know,
make
right?
your brain skip with that one?
Right. Jennifer Lawrence is ridiculous, and she play Wide. Hold on, my. Can you hear my Google thing going off?
No.
You can't hear it.
No.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Because I'm actually getting a call I just named somebody else, and I was actually getting a voice call. I don't know what that was. Yeah, no, Jennifer Lawrence, just willing to be a goofball, and she has a lot of fun with this. I saw people complaining online that the movie's concept is problematic. Just like, grow up. Like it's supposed to be problem. It's supposed to be problem. Right. It's supposed to be problematic. That's why it's funny.
Bro, if Ezra Miller can star in a major Hollywood film after what he did, get over it.
Yeah.
Like the bar is set so much higher now for that level of crap. I'm just gonna say it. Like, get over it. I didn't see it. I need to see it. I do want to see it. I just want to include it for giggles. I will say before we bounce, I think she is one of the most genuine women in Hollywood. Genuine people. Like, she comes off just real as fuck.
Yeah.
Real as hell. This. Yeah, this.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
What to say?
Boo. I mean, I don't know. This movie, it's just a frustrating experience. Again, another movie that's way too long.
Yeah.
Another movie where the opening is kind of what it needed to be, and they refuse to do that. And I know, me personally, I don't feel that I can lay the blame on anyone in particular shoulders outside of Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah.
And Disney specifically for forcing this out the gate. And we didn't need this movie, and this is somebody who loves Indiana Jones, but after Crystal Skull, it became very clear that Harrison Ford was too old to play this character in terms of credibility, and
Well, I agree.
He's good as the character, don't get me wrong, but physically there are things in this movie that are laughable.
Well, look here. She's taller than he is. Like,
yeah, I mean, whatever. I don't care about that. She's got heels on too, anyway.
Well, not just that, but I mean, he looks like an old man. Just gonna say it.
Right,
like,
he's
to his credit, he's starring in a movie. He's running around. He's 80 years old, 70, 79 years old. Like, he's up there, and good for him. But like you're saying, did we need this? Was this the most expensive movie in Hollywood history? Like, it was being reshot and reshot and reshot and reshot and reshot.
Yeah.
And also, to your point, I felt like this with this movie. It kept doing this, but then it would do this. And then it did this. Hold on.
Yeah.
this and this
We'll
and
do
this.
this, right? Yeah, there's a lot of
I
that.
needed it up here, and it just kept doing this.
And and here's the bonkers thing about that: the Indiana Jones movies don't do this. They do this. Like
Yeah.
they are propelling themselves. Like they're meant to be like serials. They're supposed to go at a certain pace. And like, yeah, it's just. I'm also not a big Gold fan. I know a lot of people think he's like, the action movie god that we need, but I'm kind of like 50-50 with him. I like sometimes I don't.
His movies have a weird consistency to them that I'll let the
Yeah,
audience sort of figure out. If
yeah.
I never see her in another action film, it'll be too soon.
Hmm.
But yeah, the movie was just all sorts of stuff they did. They killed the son. Like how? I mean, this movie was so depressing. It
Hmm.
was so off. It was so like not
Yeah.
how you want your heroes to be.
No, no,
And
no.
he could have just said, "Oh, he doesn't talk to me anymore." Done.
All
No, he
right.
killed in Vietnam. Like, oh god.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Oh, you
especially
talking about? Yeah, you talking about? There's certain
in the
characters they
film,
kill off.
Mutt
Yeah.
from
But
the.
yeah,
And
from the fourth one.
how do you watch the Crystal Skull and then go to that?
Yeah.
Like, dude, and say what you will about Crystal Skull, that was not the greatest Indiana Jones compared to this.
Hmm.
Wait, compared to that? Oh my god,
Right.
masterpiece!
No, you told me to go back and rewatch it, and then I went back and rewatched it after I saw this, and I was like, it's not as bad as I remember it being.
Thank you. End it there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, this
Mm,
movie. Um,
yeah.
mm, mm.
It's a little disappointing. It's a little
What?
disappointing.
I thought you liked it.
No, I didn't. Not really. Like I think that again, a movie that's too long. It like all these movies meander. Like you know what I mean? They meander at certain points, and it's very clear that they're meandering. Even Spider Verse. There's a point in Spider Verse where I'm like, this scene's going a little too long, but there's a lot of great things going for it. Don't get me wrong. Some of the stunts are actually really cool. The train sequence actually is the train sequence starts off goofy, but by the time things get real in the train sequence, it's actually really well done.
That
Um,
train sequence keeps going, and
yeah,
it's like old school Hollywood in that sense where it just ratchets.
hmm,
You think they're done, ratchets,
you're right.
and
Another is
that's
added
good.
to it,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's funny. The Indiana Jones movie should have had this pace.
I agree. Should have had this
Um,
man probably at this point. Like we talked about this a long time ago. There was rumors of Chris Pratt playing Indiana Jones in a movie, and you poo-pooed it.
yeah,
Now I think that's what's killing that's what killed the franchise. Not someone like this dude or Chris Pratt, somebody stepping in and taking the mantle. Which,
well, I don't think Tom Cruise should play Indiana
well,
Jones, but
I'm just making a
but
point. You
but
know,
yeah, recasting, and I was against recasting at one point in time. Yes, I was, but recasting Indiana Jones and making a movie with Chris Pratt is great. Yeah, the train sequence is cool. Like the actual villain of the story, not that guy that Tom Cruise was fighting on the train. The actual story is actually a cool concept, and that is actually creates some of the better elements of the movie for me. Um, Too many callbacks. I don't know if I don't know if I need Mission Impossible to be this interconnected.
well, it's like this and Fast and Furious.
Hmm.
You sort of, I think they have the same problem. You said this before. Why are we doing this? I
Hmm.
think there's an blah, 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 an element of why are we retreading so much? Why are we bringing back all these people? Why? And I mean, I will say these movies starting to feel like a pastiche of themselves, or they're starting to imitate each other in the wrong ways. But
Yeah.
I thought it was fine. It was fun. It was big. It was modern Mission Impossible, the way like the modern Fast movies are totally different than Fast and the Furious. I
Hmm.
rewatched the first Mission Impossible film with my daughter,
Hmm.
um, and it was just completely different than this.
Hmm.
And that's fine. You know, these
See, I
things change.
do. I do think that part of Mission Impossible's mission is that each film is supposed to come at it from a different angle. Like, so, the De Palma one is Hitchcock. The John Woo one is very John Woo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The third one is very J.J. Abrams, director with a specific viewpoint. You know what I mean? And I feel like we've had this director like twice now. No, three times now. And I kind of feel that's kind of the problem is like you need a different director on this. And I think Christopher McQuarrie is great for Mission Impossible as a writer. I just don't think that I think Mission Impossible works better with a different director each time.
No, I think you have a great point, but I think this franchise has also hit the Harry Potter point where they need more, and maybe they just decided this. They need more consistent. They'd rather have more consistency than gamble on a different director every time. Because with the Harry Potter films, it's been the same director for like 8 films or something crazy like that.
Yeah, something like that, right? Yeah.
And I think when Tom Cruise trusts you, like he's got a certain amount of power now with these films.
Yeah,
these
absolutely.
movies aren't just getting made. Like if Tom Cruise trusts you, you get to direct his movie. It's not, the other way around anymore.
No.
But I liked it. I enjoyed it. I understand why you don't. I'm not going to sit here and defend it. I want to see her in more movies. But
we didn't even talk about Haley Atwell in general. Like, is actually just great, and she's great in this. And I guess since this is part 2, she's going to be in part 1. She's going to be in part 2. So we'll see what's up. But
I think she's the most underutilized actress in Hollywood right now, coming off the Marvel films. She could be in so much. She's there. Someone's just not using her right. So just like John Cena, and I want to say Drax, Dave Bautista. Yeah,
I think those two are actually being utilized perfectly. But I do agree with you that she's being underutilized, and she could be like Julia Roberts. And they like a couple years ago, she could have been our Julia Roberts, and like they didn't capitalize on that.
Basically, so I want to do something unique with this one because this was such a unique cultural touch point.
Yeah, it was.
That I'm going to say this unironically. Okay, I think this saved cinema.
I think I think it did the thing that movies are supposed to do, and I think that we are incapable now in this current climate because of the assembly line nature of how we're producing things. Because of digital technology, we've kind of made it almost too, and so Hollywood's kind of abusing that right now. But it did what these things are supposed to do. There's supposed to be a conversation around it, and that makes people go see it. And truthfully, this is what Marvel did for 10 years. You know what I mean? It's just nice to see something that's not Marvel do that as well, which does happen. Don't get me wrong, but at this level, I don't think we've really seen something like that in a long time.
Yeah, and if you were paying attention, like this was actually supposed to be sort of an FU to Nolan, because I don't know. There's a whole backstory. Like he was a Warner Brothers guy. This is a Warner Brothers film. This is not for the first time ever or something, and they were sort of doing this to screw him over, but then it totally backfired. And both movies did great. It was, I don't know. There's some weird thing about it. I heard.
That's a good point, actually. I didn't think about that, but yeah, they released them on the same day, right?
Literally the same day. And if it was if it was a truly stacked schedule without the writer strike and everything, it may have worked, but it didn't because there's nothing else to watch. So I was like, I'll go see both. And it was like, anyway, don't quote me on that, but fun. But having said that, I'm going to go left to right. I was disappointed by this, ultimately.
By which one?
Oppenheimer.
Interesting.
Not my favorite. Oh my God, that's a weird.
Oh, that's disturbing.
Yeah, that's
hilarious.
Not a bad film. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a bad film. I just, the plot, and not the plot, the story. Maybe it's the characters. Maybe it's just the feel of the film. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood for it, to be frank. It's a very dour film. Oppenheimer's a very dour guy. I think a lot of Nolan's weaknesses.
Also, sorry, go ahead.
Just to finish, I think a lot of Nolan's weaknesses showed up. like his consistent weaknesses. But he's one of the greatest living directors. He's an important director, and yeah, I think he's going to walk. My prediction: I want this on film: Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor.
Yeah, this has Oscar bait written all over it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I don't say that he made, and that's not saying that he made it for the Oscars, the purpose of the Oscars. I think to win awards. I think that it just has it written all over it. Although he just Globe right for Best Picture.
Did it? Did it
I thought it got the Golden Globe for Best Picture.
I think you're right. I'm sure you're right.
That makes me want if. Because I feel like typically the Golden Globes and the Oscars are at odds for Best Picture. I think typically. Oh, that's hilarious.
I don't know if they. I don't know if they have a choice. What other movie came out?
I mean, true. It's been a weird year for film.
Yeah, unless they just want to spoil it for him, like they do with DiCaprio for all those years. I don't. Unless they make it Barbie, some craziness like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think Barbie's. Well, I mean, it's never about quality, but yeah, Best Picture drama. Oppenheimer won.
All right, so what did you like, Barbie? Did you like Oppenheimer or not?
So I watched it, and I thought that I just recently watched it too. I thought it was actually one of his better movies.
Okay.
I thought that the thing that he does. I've talked about this before on probably everybody's podcast if they ask me about Nolan. He does a lot of mystery box crap, and I am not a fan of that as a tool to tell a story. Like it's always an element of what's the secret, what's the thing that I'm not telling you, and like ever since the Prestige, like he kind of laid it out exactly how he tells stories, and it's been very hard for me to enjoy his movies because the Prestige tells on itself. and I think the Prestige is a great movie. I actually think that this Memento and Oppenheimer might be some of his best stuff.
I mean Memento for sure. Crazy as that sounds, I still think Interstellar is like some of his best work, and a lot of that's down to Matthew McConaughey. And Batman and the Batman trilogy, and a lot of that's down to Christian Bale. Like I'm starting to like, and he is an actor.
and Heath Ledger,
of course. Enough said, and he is an actor's director. But the more I see, the older I get, the more these weaknesses. I need to rewatch some of this stuff too, but some of these weaknesses, it's like once I learned about them, it's stuff I couldn't unsee, and it's like with the other mystery box director,
J.J.
Abrams. Once you know, it's like, why did I watch this? What am I watching this for? There's no like Interstellar. I love that movie, but by the time you're done with it, there are no aliens, but there are aliens, but there weren't aliens. Like what is it? And once you
admittedly, I haven't seen Interstellar, but
yeah, watch it and you'll know I'm right. It's carried by Matthew McConaughey, the whole movie. And it's supposed to be, but it's like he elevates Christopher Nolan material by his presence. Anyway, Barbie. Take your take on Barbie.
Barbie starts off and becomes kind of, and I mean, look, I know I'm going to sound like some guy on the internet. I get this, but the ending, and you told me this, and I was like, that's probably not what it is. And then I watched it. I was like, by the time we get to the end, I'm like, what are we trying to say here? Because it seems kind of weird. And I thought the people online were exaggerating when they were saying it. Because, I mean, like, let's be honest, right? The culture war stuff is happening, right? It's an ongoing thing. I think that most of the times people are overreacting and aren't really looking at the art as art, right? But I also think that Hollywood is somewhat to blame in that because into that and they're taking the art out of a lot of stuff in order to generate internet eyeballs for a day, right?
Yeah.
And so I found the movie amusing at first and sort of like it gave me kind of like Pinball vibes, which I really enjoyed about it at first. And it just kind of hits a point where it stops yeah, it's just the messaging gets muddled and it's not as funny anymore.
Yeah.
And I think it's not as funny anymore because the messaging gets muddled. And there's a whole subplot with America Ferrera, I think her name is,
Yeah.
and her daughter that's like so like minimal. Like it's barely a subplot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That it might as well not even be there. So yeah, I don't know.
I agree. As successful as the movie is, and we all know it's all about dollars at the end of the day, I think
Mm,
it's one of the most missed opportunities to tell a universal story about growing up and the pains of growing up.
mm,
Um, and it really, like, I don't want to get into it, the details of it. I mean, it wears its message on its shoulder. I think ultimately that was a toxic message to teach children, which I thought was
mm,
sad. I'll
mm,
just say that as a dad. Like, I really did not like how the movie ended. I thought it was I will say, visually stunning, very funny, very smart script, but ultimately, how that thing ended, I'm just sitting here like, this isn't what I want. I don't want my daughter to know this. I don't think this is how you're supposed to resolve this. And maybe one day we'll have a more in-depth conversation. But I'll leave it at that. Beautiful film, beautiful film. I will say that they made a hell of a pretty film. Um, but just to totally shift gears, this this did I lose you? I lost you. Anyway, I love this. Um, just a real funny, fun, amazing little movie. Totally worth the ride. Great curveball from Netflix. And yeah, something to really be savored and enjoyed. We're going to get Troy back.
I'm here. Thank you,
You get
sir.
your bud?
Hmm?
Was it something I said?
No, I just my internet crapped out for some reason. It's kind of annoying. But
So I gave my spit take on this. I loved it. I thought it was great.
mhm.
What were your thoughts on they clone Tyrone?
I this is one of two of my favorite films of the year. Uh, when we talk about doing something interesting and different, this movie does that. I think that this is a great example of embracing the history of Black cinema without and lampooning it, but like also telling your own story, just satirical. It actually has something to say. And, I think unlike Barbie, what we were talking about earlier, the message isn't muddled. Like it's very clear what it's trying to say by the end of the film. But it's also just a bold choice, like in a lot of ways. And I mean, it's not bold in that, like, this is a high value film or a major release from a studio, but it's just bold and like this is different. And I particularly love the fact that the film said that ultimately what he really was trying to do is do a Black Scooby Doo. That's all he was trying to do. And I love the simplicity of that. I think that is absolutely wonderful. Man, there's artwork for this movie I haven't seen yet. Some of this stuff is great.
Yeah, man. I'll just say it. Every once in a while, we get a great American Black film,
Mhm.
and one of those movies I love was like Black Dynamite from a long time ago now, where
Mhm.
that movie manages to poke so many holes and so many eyes, and it pulls from so many different resources and makes this beautiful collage that you get to enjoy and laugh at. And I think this movie does that in a completely different way, where it keeps you guessing. It's got great characters. It zigs when you think it's going to zag, and it's got some. I think it literally has some shout outs to Black Dynamite.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just beautiful, beautiful little nugget that I very much enjoyed when I was on the road. Fun movie, just a
Mhm.
fun, great movie. Um,
I mean, some of those nods to Black Dynamite are just actually just nods to black exploitation. Like, to be honest,
Oh,
like
were they
what it
beyond that?
is. Huh?
Were they that
What'd you
deep?
say?
Were
I mean,
some of those?
they're just tropes of blaxploitation movies. Like, I appreciate like a modern director seeing the value in that particular subgenre as well. Um, I think we
No, no, yeah.
regularly
There's some.
get. Well, I think we regularly get. I don't even think it's once in a while. I think that we do get like these bold visions of America, as you put it, and like they are consistent enough that we should be getting more stuff like They Clone Tyrone. I'm not even talking about in tone or style. I'm just saying that like black directors and black producers have consistently churned out unique visions for the entertainment world, and it's a shame that we don't get more opportunities to do that. So yeah, I love this. I loved this movie. I thought it was absolutely perfect. I saw The Still last year. I was like, I'm in. I'm in. It was just off of the still of them in the elevator. I was like, I'm 100% into this, and it was exactly what I needed it to be.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just saw it pop up on Netflix.
Hmm.
I've really been out of it, but and I just watched it and I was like, whoa,
Hmm.
this is amazing.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to include this just to say this came and went.
Oh yeah, it
Like
did. I think
this thing
that did.
came and went.
Look up the box office for that because I think that did actually pretty decent
Did
too.
it? Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. You gotta run the tick. No, no, no,
Oh wow, no, jeez,
no.
not at all.
This, but this one of the reasons I want to bring this up too. I'm not just trying to kick Disney in the teeth. This happens to them quite a lot.
Hmm.
Like they'll make a movie like this that just completely bombs. And one of them was also their Nutcracker that came out like 10 years ago. Like that movie did horrible, and I don't even think people knew it existed. Let's do Disney
Hmm.
Nutcracker, Disney crackers. Jesus. Yeah, this. Like, did anybody know this thing came out?
That came out. That was a movie. That was this year.
No. I'm saying this came out
Oh,
and came and went. But Disney
okay.
will have like at least one movie a year that doesn't do good.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, that's all. I just wanted, yeah, see, less than 200 mil. I just wanted to bring that up. That's all. Don't need to spend a
Yeah,
lot of time on it.
I don't know about that one. Yeah.
Netflix did one I did watch with my family, and it was pretty funny.
Mm.
You said, oh, go ahead. I did not see this. But
Oh,
did you?
this was great.
Okay.
This was great. This was a lot of fun. Like it definitely tampers with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles origin story. Um, Number one, they aren't really ninjas like they aren't really trained ninjas. They're more like learned ninja skills from Master Splinter, who watched a lot of TV in the sewer. So that part will make some people kind of like, what the hell? But everything else around this movie is actually really well. And I think it occurred to me that maybe the thing that we were missing the most, the thing that I think we're gonna been missing from Ninja Turtles is actually similar to similar to the Transformers movie that came out recently too. Um, is sort of like an urban street, and that's not to say that the other movies haven't had it. Like I think the first movie has it. I don't think any other movie after that has really duplicated that urban street level crime fighter like hip hop attitude quite like this movie has.
Okay.
Hmm.
Oh, wow. John Cena was in that. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, John Cena. You keep saying John Cena's underrated. I'm like, nah, he's properly rated.
No, he's in stuff. He's in stuff, but I don't know. Maybe if he's not like in like a Schwarzenegger style film,
Mhm.
where it's like
Mhm.
him, front and center, I sort of don't think they're being used right. Or like a
Yeah.
buddy cop with him and Dave Bautista or something, something
Mhm.
crazy like that. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'll take your word for it on this. I need to watch it. I do.
Mhm.
It is getting a little late. I want to start running through these a little bit faster.
Okay.
Did you watch this?
Nope.
Yeah, I
Saw
didn't.
the first saw the first one. I thought the first one was entertaining. But this is like what, 10 years later? Like, when did the last one? Well, I guess the last one was 2019.
That's not too far away. It's 5 years. I don't know. I sort of watched the beginning of it.
2018.
I sort of watched the beginning of it and then I stopped.
Yeah.
Like, these movies are not
Yeah.
compelling, and I wanted to because I saw some of that stuff from the trailer was really wild.
Yeah.
But I just, dude, you know, like that whole beginning was interesting.
Mhm.
Monsters eating monsters, but I don't know.
Yeah.
If it
No, I
was
feel you on
rated,
that. Like, I thought, I just wasn't particularly interested in that one.
did you catch this?
Good.
It was good.
This was actually good. Yeah.
Really?
Like,
Okay.
they do some hokey expanded universe shit at the end. The movie as a whole is good.
Was it rated R?
I don't think so, actually.
Oh, okay.
I think it might have been PG-13.
Oh, there's my man. There's my dude.
Yeah, David Smolchin. Yep. It's a good cast. It's a good movie. And I mean, they literally take a chapter out of the Book of Dracula and make an entire movie out of it. And truth be told, I actually read Dracula. Like, I remember reading that and being like, this is a fun story by itself. So someone else caught on to that, and I think that's really great.
Someone stole your idea. Just say it. That happened to me before.
No, not even. Like, it was just one of those things. It was a passing thought, because it was just like, this is a fun concept. And I remember seeing it I read the book after I saw Francis Ford Coppola's movie, like, years later.
Oh,
And I just remember like that being a very compelling part of that movie was of Demeter and what happened when they're transferring Dracula's body. So yeah.
yeah, but
Cool stuff.
this movie, man.
Oh,
I watched
yeah.
a shout out to Patrick Williams, Pat
Oh,
Willems. He's got he's got 250,000 people on YouTube or something like that. He did a breakdown about this whole era of rated R horror films from the early 90s.
Oh,
And
yeah, I watched those.
yeah, he broke it down. This movie, man, I love this movie so much. It's so good. He broke it off.
Is that the video where about how people look at the 90s horror as like a low period in horror? Does he talk about that?
It's
I remember I watched some video and like he did mention this.
Yeah, the dude just has a YouTube channel. Yeah, this dude.
Yeah.
Let's do horror.
No, don't give him any free advertising.
90s Dark Universe, he called it.
Okay.
Worthwhile.
Yeah, whatever.
Can't believe I'm on YouTube plugging other YouTubers, but I guess that's
don't give him no free play.
All right. Moving on. Dracula was good. We no surprises here. We watched this together.
Yes, yeah. This actually, well, I mean, it's kind of a surprise. Like, as much as I enjoyed Neil Blomkamp's Chappie, and I think the Chappie's a very underrated movie. Thought District 9 was just okay, and I thought that Elysium was just okay. Like, I thought they were more visually stunning and story than strong stories. And this one actually turned out to be both.
Yeah.
Which was nice.
I agree. There's a good version of Elysium out there. I wish he would make a director's cut of Elysium, because that movie is so good. But this was, I really want to use that word, charming. It was charming. Orlando Bloom did a great job. David Harbour does it. He's so good. David Harbour's so good. He always knocks it out. Whoever this kid is, Archie. Archie did an amazing job. He was very. You know what I mean?
I actually don't know where he came from either, but yeah,
I have no idea. But he did great.
He was good.
Great.
He was good.
The movie walks a tightrope. It walks a hard tight. Racing movies are hard. Car movies are hard for some reason. for some
Mm-hmm.
reason. And this movie does a great job of oscillating between corny and good, or corny and serious.
Well, so the thing about car movies, just real quick, is that you have to actually love cars. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like if you're if you're in the director's seat, you actually have to love and understand cars. And even if you break the rules while you're in the actual movie itself, you still kind of have to actually love cars. And I feel like this movie is definitely feels that way. But from an interesting perspective of someone who got into cars through video games, you know.
Yeah.
Which I can kind of relate to because, yeah, Need for Speed was kind of like my gateway drug when I was a kid.
Oh, who wasn't? But there's another thing. I don't know if you remember Chappie. Chappie
Mhm.
drove a Nissan GTR.
Yeah,
And guess what this is? Nissan GTR.
that's funny. Okay, so that's full circle.
And what was in Elysium? A Nissan GTR.
Oh, really?
So he thinks he's being slick, getting paid. This is like the equivalent of Tarantino getting paid to film feet. Like he thinks he's sliding it in there. No, I see you, Neil. I get it. Game respects game. I get it.
Hilarious. That is too funny.
That's got to be the clip we share for this video.
There you go. It is.
All right. So Gran Turismo was great. Go watch it. I don't know if you watched this one or not. Did you watch Blue Beetle?
I watched like half of Blue Beetle. Again, I had the same problem that the Shazam problem. It just feels samey and predictable, and I don't know, man. Like when people talk about, well, I can't say this 100%, but like when people talk about superhero fatigue, a lot of times I think of these DC movies first. Like I think of the Marvel movies second, and it's because I feel like more than Marvel, more not with Marvel, you're going to get like that one story that's sort of like directed by somebody who really understands the genre, really kind of draws outside the lines. You're going to get or a Russo brothers or a Joss Whedon or something different, right? And truthfully, the Marvel movies, even the samey ones, because there are ones that are samey. But truthfully, the Marvel movies are not content with just being superhero movies. They want to be espionage movies, to be sci-fi movies. They want to be fantasy movies. They want to be all these other things. And so I feel like the DC movies just are superhero movies, rightfully so. But there is a sameness to them. And I had the same problem I had with Shazam that I had with Blue Beetle, which is just like, all right, I guess so. Inspiration, made a costume, and then like somebody stumbles into it and like he's all freaked out, then he figures out his powers. There's a love interest. Like, it's cool that like you have the Latino slant, but it doesn't save the movie from being samey.
Yeah. I will say I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. I thought it had good energy. And I thought it actually ran with whatever Blue Beetle is, because I never read the comics. As much of a comic fan as I thought the redesign was really cool.
Yeah, it's a cool costume. Yeah.
Yeah. The core concept's a bit too nebulous.
Mm-hmm.
I never like the Green Lantern problem. I call it the problem, but I never like when a character can be anything, unless it's like Mystique or something, because she can just change shape. She's not like, this can be a sword, it can be a this. To me, it gets a bit nebulous then with the character itself. Having said that, I enjoyed this. I think a problem you feel with the DC films is that you can feel them not taking themselves seriously.
Yeah, I think there's an element of that too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I that's in Shazam. That's in Marvel films. Sort of have that too, but to a much lesser extent.
Yeah, right.
But
it's definitely a criticism of Marvel films that is valid, especially in post Endgame.
Yeah, and DC does that to death, and you wonder why, because it just hurts the film. Whereas the best DC films, I mean, Superman's its own genre at this point, but like The Dark Knight had heat at its core.
Right.
There was I don't know, I forget what the Marvel films are, but they rip off of other movies too. So there's movie inside the shell. The DC
right. Winter Soldier is mentioned. Like, yeah. Mhm.
yeah, like what was God, the second Captain America film? It's like a spy
Yeah,
movie,
Winter
right?
Soldier mentioned. Mhm.
Yeah, Manchurian Candidate. There you go. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah. Mhm.
they've got core concepts they latch onto and then run with, or the super strength. The
Mhm.
DC films, they just throw shit at stuff at the screen, and you
Well,
feel
yeah.
it.
Mhm.
But
You feel the
this
what?
this was fun, and it ended in an interesting way. They brought
Mhm.
back a character you didn't expect, even though it's never gonna mean anything.
Is
Anyway,
this Henry? Is this Henry Cavill?
no. It's even more obscure. It's even worse. Like I'll just say it. They bring back the original Blue Beetle at the end of the movie. So he's
Oh,
like,
Ted. Oh, Ted Cord.
yeah, sort of like
Mhm.
Ant-Man or something. And I thought that would
Okay.
have been really fun, but
Yeah.
whatever.
I
Did you
kind of
watch
figured
it?
he would come back. I kind of watched this. Like, I don't like the Equalizer. I think that they also
I don't know.
belong.
I don't
I
know.
like they belong to this genre of film where it's like, it's kind of this weird way where, you have these aging actors, and look, I'm not Denzel Washington is still a great actor, but you have these aging actors who kind of get a bit of an extra shelf life by doing like these kind of action movies where they don't leave their feet. And I feel like Liam Neeson, and I think he's kind of done with it now. Denzel's actively having this with the Equalizer movies. Keanu's having it with the most success, and I think that
Oh, yeah.
Keanu, John Wick, and Taken are probably the reason that we get so many of these movies, that we were getting so many of these movies, and I also think that now Indiana Jones is in that category. It's like I just don't feel like this really offers anything interesting or different.
Yeah. We're hitting the home stretch here. There's not too many
Yeah.
more to go. Just
Okay.
FYI.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was never super into these. I love Antoine Fuqua. No problems
Mhm.
with Denzel Washington, obviously. I just blah. It's just blah to
Yeah.
me. It was on Netflix. I watched the first 10 minutes. He was killing a bunch of Italian people. I'm like, I'm done. Done. Just kidding. No, but I don't know. I'm going to give it another whirl just because
Yeah,
the whole
whatever.
thing's set in Italy, but
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
I don't.
it's just whatever.
But
Like, I mean, they.
I've never
Mhm.
like even the Liam Neeson, even Taken,
Mhm.
even like all those Liam Neeson movies just passed by me.
Yeah,
After
right, right,
after I watched that one with him and the Wolves, I was like, I'm done with this. This sucked. But I know the other
right.
one's different. But
Yeah. Hmm.
it's just a weird category of I guess it goes back to Death Wish, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you're probably going to be amazed at this. I did not watch this.
Oh,
Was it
really? Wow.
the fourth? Oh, here we
Hmm.
go. Yeah, I did not watch this.
Hmm.
Did you watch it?
I did watch it,
Wow.
which is hilarious actually, because this is more your bag than mine. I think at this point.
This is my bag, but I heard he wasn't in it, and I was like,
Yeah.
done with you.
It's it's it's. I mean, I mean, look. All you need to know about this movie is what you've seen in the last three Expendables movies, which is like it's more of the same. Yeah, and not the action's not particularly bad, but it's not particularly good, and like the characters actually do a lot less action in this one. I've noted in the midway through it too. Um, I also got to say, man, I just don't, as charismatic as these individual actors are in their own right, together, together they just don't work. I just don't. I like the first Expendables kind of works as a one-off, and then after that, it's just sort of like it's just I don't know. They're doing this quippy buddy cop thing with all these characters, and it's just sort of like, I guess so. It's kind of
I
boring.
I
Like they
I
don't
think.
really
Oh, go
have
ahead.
batteries or anything of interest. Like whatever.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say I think they really peaked with the second one.
Hmm.
It had all of them in it.
They did,
Um,
yeah.
I mean, it had everybody in it. Like, God bless Bruce Willis and his struggles right now.
Hmm.
It had V did a great job as the villain. It was, I mean, dude, it was this movie and the first one too. But this movie was a dream come true,
Hmm.
and I just sort of stopped after this. The third one was so bad. which was a shame because it actually, the third one had like legit pull, like the cover of Variety, and then the
Interesting.
movie was so bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is the one to watch. Period.
Yeah,
And
because
the
what was
go ahead.
yeah, this is
2000
almost 10 years. This is almost 10 years ago, man.
No, there's more, right? No, which one? The
Yeah,
second one or the first one?
I'm sorry, the third one. It's been 9 years since the last Expendables. I didn't think it had been that long.
Holy cow! Since
I
Expendables
did.
3?
Yeah, I really didn't think it had been that long, but it has been 9. And I don't know, man. I have this thing. I'm like, you can't
Dude.
do not make a sequel to a movie like that's close to 10 years old. Like, if there's a 10-year gap between the last movie and the next movie, just don't do it.
Well, you're gonna put Will Smith out of work if he didn't do it to himself already.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he did Men in Black. I still haven't seen the third Men in Black movie. So,
I watched the international one. That was such a waste of time.
hmm.
Such a shame, man, because it's such a great concept.
It's a great concept.
They've
It
got
is.
these great concepts, and they just
Yeah.
like 65, man. They dinosaurs, laser guns, writes itself. And no, they make terrible films. I did not watch this. I want to.
And, yeah.
Okay.
You said you don't, or you want to?
I do want to. I do want to. But just for kill 2 hours. I don't know. Crazy story. I always like telling the story. I remember seeing the first Saw.
Sorry, my bad. I'm listening. I gotta like reattach my my charger. Hold on one second.
Okay, let me tell the story.
Keep talking.
I'm talking. I remember seeing the first Saw, and I remember seeing it and just offhand doing it. And I saw the first Saw film, and then the twist happened at the end, and I was like, "Oh, cool beans." And then I never saw another Saw. And then I watched the first Paranormal Activity when it was like an indie film. And Saw was basically an indie film too. And then I saw the first Paranormal Activity, and that blew up. And then I saw and this might not necessarily be in order, but I'm just making a point. Then I saw the first Purge. And then, but all those three series went on to be huge series with a bunch of different sequels. I've never seen any of the sequels. I saw Saw once before it was popular. Never watched the Saw film again. I saw The Purge before it was popular. Never watched The Purge again. I saw Paranormal Activity when it was an indie film. Never watched Paranormal Activity again.
No, yeah, I mean, you're not missing anything with the Paranormal Activity movies. I have seen all the Saws. With the exception of the Chris Rock one that came out a few years ago. I saw like a quarter of it, and I was just kind of like,
Did I lose you?
although I can't blame her for that. I doubt that I can blame her for that. Like, yeah, I just have seen all of them, and I don't particularly like them. I think that there's maybe a handful of them that are actually saying something or kind of interesting. Like, there's one that's actually about Medicare that I thought was actually pretty good. Or the American health system, I should say.
I didn't know Amy Schumer was in the movie.
Oh, okay. Spicy it towards the end of this. Okay.
We're 2 hours in. We got one person watching. Let's give him a show.
Give him a show. All right, Saw 10. Saw 10. Yeah. I mean, there'll be a Saw 11 next year.
Can't wait.
And you will not have missed any.
Yeah, it's that strange thing about horror films where somehow they manage to fit a message in there, and they always surprise me. They're always a little bit better than I think they're going to be. But just to bounce on, you're right. They're going to make another one. So go watch it if you want. Your murder porn, they like to say. Did you watch this?
Yeah, comic book movie, by the way.
What?
Yeah, comic book movie. Yeah. David Fincher finally made a comic book movie. How about that?
Of course, he turns it into the most anti-comic book movie.
Yeah, no, this is cool, and it's not the most like explosive assassin movie I've ever seen, of course. The movie seems to really, and this is what David Fincher is unique. The movie really does focus on the methodical nature of having to be an assassin. And I kind of enjoy the fact that like the movie definitely opens with this character trying to be methodical, and then it immediately backfires. And then it basically causes a roller coaster effect from there. But the movie is not like a Jason Bourne type thing. It does have quiet moments, but the explosive moments are cool.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's definitely some of the best action that God, there's a bunch of movies named The Killer.
Yeah.
I think it's the best action film Fincher's ever done, if he's
Hmm.
even done another action film. And yeah, I think it's a very contemplated. Some people, I've heard different takes on it. I mean, I don't think this is well. I don't want to spoil it, but it was in some ways it's disappointing, but it's supposed to be. It's very anti-cinema. While I've heard some people say it's about cinema, and I sort of got the message after
I
watching
guess
it,
so. I
and
guess so.
and I think it's about a couple different things, you know, and it's a good movie. It's a very well.
Yeah.
His movies are always good. They're always
Yeah.
superb, well done,
Hmm.
like wrought iron film. But would I want to watch it again though? I don't really
Yeah.
think so. I'd
No,
probably
it's
rather
not something.
Girl or Seven or
Yeah.
something. The action sequences were really well done though.
They're really well
It
done.
is,
Yeah.
it is worth watching. I will
Right.
say, nifty surprise for the year. I didn't even know it was coming out.
Yeah, I didn't either. It kind of stuck up on me.
Yeah, and we are getting to the end. We are getting to the end. Da, da, da. Now we talked a lot about this movie before it came.
Mm.
Did you ended up watching it?
I did. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What I did not.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Okay.
My family
Uh,
did. Little aside, my family does not like Marvel stuff now.
okay.
I've tried to get them to watch shows. I've tried to get them to
Mm.
do stuff, and they're not interested. So I
Yeah.
will. And to quote them, the writing and acting sucks. But what did you think of the Marvels? Because this movie is probably, apart from the Flash, again, such a weird year. This was what the most controversial Marvel film for all the dumb reasons.
No, I mean, I would say Ant-Man and the Wasp are, but well, yeah, I guess the Marvels too. I guess. Um, yeah, I mean, I actually thought this was good. Like, first of all, I didn't think it was great, but I thought it was a vast improvement on the character of Carol Danvers, which Brie Larson plays. I think that they got a lot of interpersonal relationship stuff between the characters really well, which I think is when Marvel succeeds the most. Is when they're able to do that, when the group of characters come together and you kind of see how they're same and how they're different and how they're what makes them tick each other and whatnot. Um, Not fantastic, but also a fun movie. Just a fun movie. Um, Samuel, I one of the things I hated about the last movie is how Samuel Jackson was kind of treated and how we got the story of his eye in the first movie, Captain Marvel movie. Um,
Oh,
and yeah,
oh,
right, right.
talk about
Um,
disappointing. Oh my
but
God.
this one um, manages to be playful with Samuel Jackson's character in a similar tone, but doesn't overdo it. At least I thought so. The villain is not great. Like the villain's kind of bland. But overall, it was a fun movie. It had fun. It had a lot of fun moments in it.
Did it have Nova? Did they put Nova in
No,
it?
no, no. There's I don't know what that is. It's like fan art.
Oh yeah, totally. Oh, that's lame.
I will say this, man. The Marvel movies keep doing this thing where they skip over the major story arc and just tell you the thing that happens next. The thing that happens next. And it would have been really nice to have seen the Kree Skrull War.
I
Like,
agree.
yeah.
I was actually thinking about that today, like how um Ronan with Hawkeye is like a footnote in that movie. and that could be like a whole movie onto itself, a whole mini series onto itself.
Well, that's kind of what the Hawkeye TV show was, kind of.
Yeah. I wish I could get my family to watch it. So, but you say it's worth it. Good movie. You enjoyed it. Okay, good. I'm gonna give it a shot when it shows up on Disney Plus.
It's an amusing movie. I'm not going to oversell it. It's amusing.
Okay. Did you watch this?
Nope.
Okay, I did.
Oh, you did?
Okay. I did, and I will tell you this: when when the first Hunger Games films came out, I would say hate is probably an accurate word. Why? Like, what's the famous Japanese movie that it's obviously based on?
Oh, Battle Royale.
Battle Royale. Oh, Battle Royale without the blood. I don't care. Having said that, as society has changed over the past couple of years, since that first one came out, I'm like, wow, these movies are a lot more prescient as sci-fi films than I gave them credit for. And this, I'm not going to sit here and say it's an amazing movie, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I thought the cast did fine. It's a little stupid. It's a little corny. I don't understand. Like, she has a Southern accent. I don't know why. Like,
okay.
He did great. Viola Davis in the movie was out of control, amazing. She really enjoyed her character.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think it's worth watching just for her. Like, I'll go that far. And it is a Hunger Games film. It's for girls.
Yeah.
I'll just say it. it's for girls. But
yeah, that's fine.
It was an interesting little film, and some of the set designs, the costumes were really cool, and it will bounce. There's only a couple movies left. But I would give it a shot. He's dreamy. Just kidding. No. Dun, 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 dun.
Yep.
You watched this, but you were inebriated.
I was. Yes, I did. Yes, I was. So I'm not the right person to talk about this at all.
I will. Okay, I'm going to dive in then, and I'll just hijack this one. Dude, this movie was amazing. This movie transcended Godzilla. Like, after this movie, I finally understand how Godzilla isn't some lizard. Godzilla really is the story of Japan. And I'm not ashamed to say this. I was in tears watching this movie. Like, this movie hit me in ways I did not see coming. And maybe I was probably in a mood. Been through a lot this year. But this movie made me believe in cinema again. This movie, I was just floored. This took me on an emotional journey that I was.
Yeah, I need to see this, and I'm kind of mad under seeing it in theaters. I would, because I
would. I mean, I'm glad I watched it in theaters, and I don't know. I could be blown smoke, but I saw those 98% ratings on whatever Rotten Tomatoes, which don't judge a movie by that. But I was like, what's going on here? And then I saw it, and I was blown away, literally, just like Tokyo. I was just like, oh my God. Dude, I was bawling like a baby in that movie. But anyway, it's shame admit that to the internet.
I mean, it looked like a great sequel to Oppenheimer. So
it's a hell of a movie to see after Oppenheimer, but in some ways better. Did you see this?
Was that this year? I thought that was like just a week.
We're really at the end. It's 2 more movies after this, then we're done.
Yeah, I thought this was just last week. I thought this just came out like.
No, this is a. When
did it come out? I thought it came out like a week ago.
December 15th.
Oh, December 15th. Okay, never mind.
Last year was a week ago, bro.
That's so fair. I mean, I thought it was literally a week ago.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, no. Nah. Zack Snyder. I mean, right here is this Zack Snyder's rejected Star Wars pitch, um, which basically sounds kind of like Rogue One in a way.
No, it's not at all. It's
Or
just
I mean, tonally, I'm talking about. Um, I watched a quarter of it. No, actually, I watched half of it. Jesus, surprisingly dull for a movie that is from a guy who made 300, and is known for his action sequence.
dude,
Um,
dude.
yeah,
Could you imagine 300 in space? How
right.
the hell did he not? How did I gotta move the screen over here?
Hmm.
How did he not do that?
Yeah.
How did he not do that?
I mean, I just think like truthfully, man, I think Zack Snyder's um, a little full of it. He's been full of it for
No,
a
I
while.
mean, as there's, I don't
Mhm.
know how he got $70 million to remake the Justice League movie. Did I
Yeah.
lose you? No, you're there. Sorry,
No, I'm
you
here. I'm
froze
here.
up.
I'm here.
Again.
I'm here.
I don't know how he got $70 million, whatever the amount of money was to remake Justice League. I don't know. He must know where all the bodies are buried, like Ezra Miller. Like he
Hmm.
must know something the Illuminati doesn't want us to know or something, because
Hmm.
I don't know how he keeps getting work at the level he does.
Right.
Because it's starting to be like B-level work,
Yeah.
and that's how this felt. And don't get me
I mean,
wrong.
that's. Mhm.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say, I feel like probably where he would shine the most. Like he has a B movie sensibility. Like, but he has an A-list level visual. You know what I mean? And that's
Visually,
truthfully,
no one can touch him. I'll say
and
that.
that's truthfully, that's what you want from a B movie style director. Uh, I just think that like his there's a there's just kind of like a I don't even want to say smug because it's not self-important so much as it's kind of maybe a little I don't even want to say pretentious because I think that's too strong. But it's just the movie thinks he's making more than what he's making sometimes.
I think you're
And
right. He's like a
yeah.
he's like a he's like a he's like a music video director. And
Yeah.
I say this as I'm like, dude, 300. We watched 300 together. That movie's
Hmm.
amazing.
Hmm.
That movie's amazing. What else has he done? He did something else good, right? Like
He did the remake of Dawn of the Dead, which was also good.
amazing.
Um,
Like, he's
he
not a
did
bad director. Hold on, let's look at
no,
his.
he did the Watchmen remake,
Oh, I love
which
Watchmen. I love Watchmen.
I actually think the Watchmen movie is actually pretty good. I actually enjoyed Sucker Punch when it originally came out. The more I watch it, the more I just don't think it's particularly anything.
It's not a good
Um,
movie. It's just not a good
no,
movie. I'll just say that.
um,
I remember being so disappointed by Sucker Punch. It wasn't
yeah,
even funny. But
and I just feel
okay,
like yeah, his. Oh, well, let's look at this. Yeah,
what the hell is that? That Owl movie was good, but what the hell was that?
yeah, it's so random.
What did he do? He didn't do Wonder Woman. No,
No, he produced Wonder Woman.
see. I think all right. I think I see a pattern here, and I'm just
Hmm.
going to say it.
Hmm.
When he's not writing, oh, he did write. Well, he didn't write 300.
No,
Bullshit.
he adapted
Bullshit on
it.
that. All right. When he's not writing his own films,
Hmm.
he's on it.
Yeah.
When he's writing his own stuff, like get out of here.
Yeah, like
I just,
The Army of the Dead thing was kind of trash. Like
yeah, that was man. He needs to.
I don't care what anybody says. That 4 hour version of Justice League was also trash. There might have been
Actually, I did like that.
you did.
I did like that. I
Mhm.
gotta draw the line there. The four,
Mhm.
but at the same time, if you need 4 hours to make a good movie and unlimited I mean, hell, I say this about Elon Musk. You give me $100 billion, I'll get your ass to Mars. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, give me $200 million. I'll make you a good movie.
I'll make you the best slingshot in the world.
There you
All
go.
right.
Okay, a few more. Literally,
Mhm.
I know what you're gonna say about this one, and I know what I'm gonna say. But did you check out Aquaman?
Don't care, didn't ask.
Okay, I watched it. I liked it. I'm not going to say it's a good movie. I was in the mood to see. I did enjoy the. I actually went back and watched that first one. That first one's a deceitfully good film. I'm just going to say it. It's not. I will say this to this day. I don't know what the hell Nicole Kidman's doing in there. I was watching the first Aquaman when she shows up in Dinosaur Land. I literally started bursting out laughing, and I said to myself, "What is Oscar winner Nicole Kidman doing wrapped up in dinosaur bones in Aquaman?" But the movies are very inventive. They're visually stunning. They're stupid. They're stupid. They are stupid. I'm not going to defend them. She is mega hot.
I like the Black Man, the depiction of Black Manta.
That's comic accurate, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even talking about costume. I'm just talking about the overall storyline, depict like all that stuff. Like,
it's awfully good. It's a good little nugget in the movie, and they play it to effect. Yeah, James Wan.
They play it straight, actually.
Yeah, this guy's a savant. Weirdly straight for such a ridiculous movie. But I enjoyed it.
I thought you were calling James Wan weirdly straight.
Oh no. No, you're right. They play this dude accurate. I don't know, deadpan. Like he's very serious, and the movie is just ridiculous. Yeah. Like James Wan films are out of control. I love that man. That man's like the Spielberg of comic book films.
Okay, all right, okay. Let's dial it back.
He's the Spielberg of gonzo action movies.
Is he?
I think so. Dude, he makes these stupid. Dude, he had a freaking octopus playing drums. Like in the Little Mermaid, in the original Little Mermaid. Dude, it's better. It's better than the Little Mermaid. It's better. I don't think you watched this, but I wanted to end on this.
I didn't get a chance to watch this. No, I actually bought the ticket and then had to run back home.
Oh no, that sucks.
Yeah.
Well, I want to end with this. This was Adam Driver. This is the second movie where Adam Driver plays an Italian. And I was going to make a point of that, but then I realized Gucci came out in 2021. So, to be fair, he gets to do it again. I'll give him a pass. He's not Italian. I checked. I'm upset about that. Penelope Cruz, not Italian. Patrick Dempsey, not Italian. Michael Mann, director of the movie, not Italian. But this movie was great. This movie was wonderful. The backstory to this movie is I think Michael Mann's actually been trying to do, like I heard about this movie 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago with De Niro. De Niro was supposed to play the character. Oddly enough, I think he aged out, even though if you know anything about the real Ferrari, let's just do that real quick. Oh, God.
Yeah, I need to watch that.
I think Paul Giamatti would have been a more accurate representation.
That's very true.
Dude's a short Italian man. And I don't know if you know anything about Adam Driver. He is not short.
Right, yeah. He's not. And of course he's a short Italian because he raced cars. Like that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, he raced cars and he ran his own company. But I will say, again, I'm just gonna hate this. You did great, bud. You talked a lot. Thank you so much for being on. But this was a delightful, accurate, while condensed because it's a movie. A love letter to Italy, and this man who did some great things, left a mark on the world. I was very surprised at how good this was. I don't think it's going to win. It didn't do any business, unfortunately. A real shame it didn't make enough money or any money. This movie was wonderful, and you really saw Michael Mann's talent at work, and I think he restrained himself a lot.
Oh,
Um,
interesting. Okay.
it didn't at times it didn't feel like a Michael Mann film, but that's in no way a denigration. Like this was a real different movie for him, in my opinion, and I loved
Mhm.
every frame, start to finish. I was only upset it wasn't longer, actually, seeing as that was the theme, bloated films for this year. I wish this
Yeah.
was longer. It could have soaked up another hour of my time.
Isn't that the funny thing? There are the movies that aren't long enough aren't long enough. Also, I just want to say though, because you didn't, it's not on your list, I don't think. Flower Moon. Speaking of
What?
Italians, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh, dude, I totally forgot that.
Yeah, Killer.
You loved it.
That is actually my movie of this year.
Your favorite?
Like between that, but it's my other favorite movie this year. Between that and They Clone Tyrone, Killers of the Flower Moon is actually my other favorite. It's
Actually, you know
surprisingly.
what? That
Uh-huh.
that could rob Nolan. That could.
You know what? It could. Yeah, if it's a best picture nominee. I don't actually know. Has Scorsese ever gotten best director?
I don't know.
I thought he did. I thought he got it for Passion of the Christ, but I don't.
Let's see. Did he win? Did he win?
Oh, he got it for The Departed. I just remembered.
He did. That was a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great movie.
I mean, he could go for two. I mean,
This was wonderful. This moment, actually, now it's coming back to me. This
coming
moment,
back, right?
Yeah, all those guys there. It's like they all, dude. It's so rigged. They all knew. They knew, and they were all. But this is such a wonderful picture. What talent, right here, man. What talent when he accepted that award. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, that could spoil Nolan this year. Totally.
Yeah,
That could totally spoil
Goodfellas, Age of Innocence, The Aviator got 5 wins. Departed got 4 wins. Hugo got 5 wins. But which movie actually got that? Just probably a bunch of other random technical awards and whatnot. Again, I don't want to mean to be dismissive. I'm just trying to find this thing.
Am I allowed to use Google Images this way, or?
I think that works. Yeah.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
Always get some weird strikes on my live stream.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember the last. I'd have to look it up again, but yeah, can't remember the last. I feel like he won an Oscar for something else, and I can't remember what it is. Oh, there's a whole wiki page where it says he unrealized projects.
Oh man.
Oh, Serpico's on the list.
What?
And he met with Francis Ford Coppola to do the Godfather sequel.
I'm just gonna leave that alone. Really, dude? That would be synergy right there. That would make sense.
So he was supposed to direct Scarface. He was supposed to direct Beverly Hills Cop and Little Shop of Horrors.
No,
wow!
Shut up! No, he was not. No, he was not. Little Shop of Horrors. I love that movie.
Oh wow! He was supposed to direct Dick Tracy.
I did hear about that.
But get this, he was supposed to. Spielberg offered him Schindler's List in 1988.
Offered it.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, that's the whole thing about movies. Like, we think about it as this written in stone. Like, once the movie's in the world, right, it's untouched and you can't change a frame. You can change everything now. But, dude, all that wheeling and dealing on the back is just going on every day. Every day.
I wonder if there's a wiki for Guillermo del Toro's unrealized projects.
Dude, that's cool.
Bro. In 2000, Scorsese was on board to direct Gucci, A House Divided.
Wow, that's what Ridley Scott did.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I gotta admit, Ridley Scott did a great job with that.
He did do a good job with that, yeah.
I was going to say this. We're in this weird era of, I don't know if I'm just paying attention. Well, no, I'm just going to say it. Like between the Mario movie, the Gucci movie, Ferrari, like we're in this weird era of great movies about Italians, like characters, not Italian creators, but characters. And I'm enjoying it. I am, as much as I don't like Chris Pratt not being Italian. Like, there's some good stories coming. Like that Gucci movie was really good, man.
It was a good movie. That was entertaining.
I shouldn't have, but I watched it with my daughter because I thought, this is actually a really good movie about Italians. And the mafia were just a thing. It wasn't the thing. You know what I mean? The thing,
yeah, you're right. Yeah,
right. But Ridley Scott did such a I love it when they focus on the family elements, the art, the cultural elements. That's what I really like to see. That's why I like The Sopranos. As goofy as that could be, that show did an amazing job of showing the Italian family.
Yeah.
But anyway, that is wild. I did not know that he was in line. That would have been great. I would have loved to see that.
But long story short, The Flower Moon, a very sympathetic, empathetic depiction of a piece of history I don't think a lot of people know about. And in a way that's not, it focuses on the bad guys in some regard, but the empathy towards them, which is actually really interesting, because typically, Scorsese kind of toes that line with the bad guys in the stories, right? The gangsters and the money street guys, they're always kind of empathetic in their story of retribution. This story doesn't do that. It's actually really interesting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's end it on that note, because we've literally gone 2 hours and some change.
Yeah. How long did you think this episode was going to be? Because there was no way it was going to be less.
This was a huge mistake.
This wasn't going to be at least 2 hours. I don't know what you thought this was going to be.
Well, I think if anything, we've proven that we can talk a long time and not quit.
About movies.
No, but no. I mean, dude, this has been a long time since I've hosted one of these. Want to host more. I want to do more interviews. So this is a great warm up to do more of those. And yeah, we rounded up 2023. What a year. What an unprecedented, wild, and crazy year for cinema. It was even crazier than 2020, 2021, 2022. I don't remember those years being so wacky and wild and controversial, and starts and stops. Movies being pushed back, movies being shelved. The business. I mean, we haven't even talked about how the business is changing, which is one of my favorite things to do. Movies aren't making as much money as they used to. How's that affecting these corporations? But yeah, maybe we'll get some more of those down the road. But it's been a wild year, man. Wild year,
buddy. No, yeah, interesting year. And as a friend of mine who's an editor, film editor, said, he legit said Hollywood was in flux, and a lot of things are going to change. And at first, I was a little surprised by that, because I was like, well, that sounds like what the internet's saying, which I normally assume the internet's wrong, and the truth is actually, completely separate. But he kind of confirmed that Hollywood is in flux, and I think we've seen that in this past year. Reviewing these movies, you can kind of see that.
Yeah,
there's a lot of transition about to happen in Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons I did keep bringing up the Disney films, even though they weren't action movies, was to make a point. I think Disney is going to fall this year, or they need to do some serious course correcting, because we talked about the Marvels. The Marvels made $200 million.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not good.
No.
The Haunted House movie, less than $200 million. Okay, Elemental did $500 million, and Ant-Man did $500 million. Ant-Man's third string. You know what I mean? What is going on with Disney? What is going on with Marvel? Star Wars. People are upset with Star Wars. And it's going to be interesting to see these video game properties take over, I think. Because Gran Turismo was a video. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. My headphones going in and out. I need to get a new headphone. This thing is on its last leg.
Yeah, but I mean, Gran Turismo, Super Mario, The Last of Us,
hmm
almost feels like a changing of the guard in a way.
Yeah,
Not
no,
something I want to see, but you can sort of feel it happening.
legitimately, that's what's happening. Is we're seeing a shift. The audience is changing. I think the fact that your family didn't want to watch the Marvel movies is and vocalize so like specifically is a clear indication of that. And I think that's a lot of people's reactions in general.
That's the reason
So
I didn't. That's the reason I haven't been able to watch Secret Invasion. I think there was another one that came out I missed.
yeah, it's been a few. Yeah. Like
They just
Echo
didn't.
K or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a dad with a full-time job. That's why my website's been so quiet. If I don't watch it with my family, guys, I can't watch it. And if they don't want to watch your stuff, like my daughter is the freaking target market, and she's telling me this. Meanwhile, actually, we could make a whole episode about this. Meanwhile, she's watching nothing but manga.
Yeah.
Can't get enough.
And that's the way. And what's the closest, the next closest thing to manga, in terms you can adapt? Video games. Because so much of that stuff has a Japanese backbone. I mean, Sonic, Mario, and Pikachu all had movies, and they were all 6.
Yeah, but also I think even deeper than that, one thing, and I do got to get out of here now. But one thing I realized, there's a lot more turnover with manga. It's not like for you and me and television, even American style stuff. There's season after season after season of a successful show. Comics, Spider-Man's been around for 60 years, uninterrupted. There's a new manga every 6 months, every month.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's the whole industry.
Done. Yeah,
it's basically the comic book industry in Japan, right?
Yeah, but it starts and stops and starts and stops. So I think that's actually training kids to hop off properties faster.
Yeah, I can see that. I can totally see that.
Yeah, and I don't know and then that generation is going to grow up. I don't know how they're going to deal with that because Hollywood, unless they use AI in a good way, to really speed things up, I don't know how they're going to deal with that, man. Because these kids are going to be used to anti-franchise. Like they're going to want good new ideas or Get Out.
Yeah, or Get Out, right. I mean, I also think that's representative gaming. Like, there's always a new AAA series kind of coming around the corner. As much as we get like another Halo, another this, another that, there's always another potential AAA series that they kind of like look upon as a challenge to play in some way, shape, or form. Like something big always kind of comes out of the new year. It looks like each year in terms of games. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Future's going to be a fun place.
It's going to be different, man. We blend.
All right, bud. Well, let's wrap it up with what do you want to plug, man?
What? The Old Dirty Bastard, Lyrical Ruckus in the City Kickstarter is currently wrapping up. So you kind of like down to the last hours. If you haven't the copy of it yet on Kickstarter, do that. It is definitely a Wu-Tang. It's an official Wu-Tang comic. I'm one of the writers of one of the stories in there. I got to do a sizable actually in the book with artist Manhouse. That is a horror story. We talked about Evil Dead earlier. It is definitely meant to be in line with both Evil Dead and Tales from the Hood. Check that out. And also just follow us at Rexco Comics, like especially on YouTube right now, because our YouTube's blowing up. So definitely check it out because people have gravitated to some of the material we're doing over there, including the MF Doom animated short. So enjoy.
Awesome. Cool. Well, as always, you can buy my books, ladies and gents. The links are in the description. The Vicious Game, and Knuckle Crack Bone. I got to remember my own titles here. I'm currently working on a sci-fi race car novel. Got to squeak that one out. But that's going to be so awesome. It's called Velocity Hunters. What is it? Blade Runner mixed with Fast and Furious. You're not going to be able to say no. But on behalf of Action Go-Go, thank you so much, Troy. It's always a pleasure, bud. And God bless everybody. Have fun. Enjoy some movies. Take it easy.